The 1970 Monaco Grand Prix, just like the 78 South African Grand Prix, the lead changed on the last lap. Jack Brabham was leading the race easily. Jochen Rindt got closer and closer and closer to Brabham, but Jack knew that Jochen was never going to pass him because it's impossible at Monaco unless you really make a big mistake. And so he was just letting Jochen get within a couple of seconds and was going to win the Grand Prix. But as they came down to the last corner, the Gasworks hairpin, which doesn't exist anymore, it's where Rascasse is now, but it was just a direct hairpin then. Jack was coming up to lap Piers Courage's Dallara, DeTomaso, designed by Dallara, which is going very slowly. And Jack was a bit unsure whether to pass him on the left or the right because Piers was in the middle of the road. He went down the inside, which was full of marbles and very, very slippery. He went down the inside, locked up, and went straight on into the straw bales, as a result of which Jochen just went straight past and won the race. But what really annoyed Jack was that as he was putting the car into reverse very quickly to get back into the race, a marshal had jumped over the straw bales to try to help and tripped and landed right on the top of Jack's car, which delayed Jack for another, 10, 15 seconds. So Jochen Rindt eventually won this 1970 Monaco Grand Prix. He won it, you could say, very luckily because of what happened to Jack, but he had put a massive amount of pressure on Jack. And think about this. Pole position for this race, Jackie Stewart in the Tyrrell March, this is 1970 when they're running marches, 1 minute 24.0. The next time, I think, was Chris Amon, 24.5 or 6. Chris had a problem in practice, actually been held up by Pedro Rodriguez and was so annoyed, was waving his fist. And as he waved his fist, he hit the guardrail. Won't do that again. But in the chase of Jack, Jochen Rindt's last two laps, 1:23.3, 1:23.2, 0.8 quicker than Jackie Stewart's pole lap. That's how on the limit Jochen Rindt was in those last few laps of the 70 Monaco Grand Prix. So here we are, Monaco 1970. Graham Hill, 5 times winner, driving the Rob Walker Lotus 49. He would finish 5th in this Grand Prix, a very good performance in the autumn of his career. There it is, there's the Rob Walker car. Dark blue, looked very nice. Nice sign writing there. The 2 Yardley BRM P153 V12s designed by Tony Southgate. Beautiful cars. Jack Oliver and Pedro Rodriguez. Pedro would win the Belgian Grand Prix in a few weeks' time. There's the Piers Courage DeTomaso with the Cosworth engine. Oddly, Piers there with an Alfa Romeo sticker on his logo on his overalls. That's because he was driving sports cars for Alfas and had the same set of overalls for both. There's the Tyrrell March, which got the pole for Jackie. There's Jackie looking very Jackie. And there's the crowd waiting for the start, and Chris Amon actually leads in the middle, the Jack down the inside there, and the Brabham and Jackie Stewart on the outside gets a good run and does actually get the lead into Saint-Devote. Chris Amon there, Jack Brabham. Jack passes Chris quite early on, but Chris doesn't let him get away. Jackie retires early in the race. There's Jackie X leading Denny Harmon. Henri Pescarolo, who went really well in the Matra MS120 V12. He won the Formula 3 race there in 67, knows Monaco really well. There's Jochen Rindt chasing that group, Harmon and Pescarolo out of Saint-Devote. Hasn't changed much there. There's Jackie. There's Graham in the 49, looking good. And this is what the race lead was all about. Jack Brabham with Chris Amon driving beautifully right behind him in the unwieldy March 701, the factory car, the 701 STP car. Pescarolo leading a group. There's Jack again out of the chicane. Chris still there. And I think that's Jackie Oliver in the V12 BRM looking nice. Might have been Pedro, difficult to tell. The journalist in the media centre. Now, the flagman was so astonished by Jack not winning that he didn't actually wave the checker for Jochen. But there's Jochen on the podium now with Princess Grace, Prince Rainier holding the trophy. Some nice shots here just as he comes down the steps. The camera stays on him a bit and you get a little bit of a feel for Gold Leaf Team Lotus in 1970. They're still in the 49. Of course, Jochen would be racing the 72 at Zandvoort. But a lovely win for Jochen Rindt if you take into account those amazing laps that he put in. Thanks for watching. See you next week.